Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 60th Rome Total War Brotherhood battle that I put onto YouTube. Now, for the 60th battle, I wanted to do something a little bit unusual and a little bit different from what we usually put on, and I think I found it with this game. This game was taken from Brotherhood member KENDYs campaign, which he started about 7 or 8 years ago. And this is the scenario behind the campaign. It's Greek Cities versus Carthage. And this is one of the battles from that campaign. Sparta has not yet joined the Greek cities armies yet in this campaign, so there are no Spartans on the Greek cities team. Also, there are no sacred band pikemen within the Carthage army either. So if you like, both teams here, both Greek cities and Carthage, are bringing secondary troops here. So this is a very unusual battle. There's no max on cavalry, and also there is artillery in this game too. The team today consists of Brotherhood member KENDY, who is actually the longest serving continuous member of the Brotherhood. Then we have Brotherhood member Wolf, and then we have Brotherhood member Thunder. Just a little bit of RTW history here. When Rome Total War first came out in September 2004, I used to host a lot of 2v2 games. And in one of the early games, Wolf joined my game and we teamed up, and we found we seemed to be good friends, and we played really well as a good team as well. In those days, a lot of clansmen looked at themselves as being a bit elite, and kind of looked at non-clansmen as people that kind of should just be put to the sword and stood on as soon as possible. So me and Wolf used to love getting those type of clansmen into our game, and as we started to beat them, very often they'd leave our game and refuse to join in the next game. But what we found was that as we became friendlier with Brotherhood members, we found they were nothing like that. They were very fair, and they always give people a chance. And after loads and loads of asking, we decided to join the Brotherhood in early 2006. Unfortunately, Wolf doesn't play Rome Total War anymore. And here are the other team. I've paused the game here because action starts almost as soon as the game starts here. The other team is Brotherhood member Merlin, who is part of the Greek cities team there. And then we have Brotherhood member Vlad, who is also bought the Greek cities team there. And then we have a Brotherhood member Uther, who has bought obviously the Greek cities there. So there you go. That's the Greek cities team there. If we just have a close look there, you can see that they've got artillery there. Of course, Greek cities cavalry are not very good. So the Carthaginians have got advantage of cavalry. So that's why the Greek cities were given artillery in this game. If you notice, they've got they haven't got Spartan hoplites. They've got armoured hoplites in their army, and it's very much secondary troops on both teams here. So it'll be interesting to see how secondary troops do. Right, as you can see, right from the beginning of the battle, the Greek cities artillery is being used very well here. Some of the artillery pieces are firing fire pots, which are not very accurate, but can do a heck of a lot of damage if it hits a unit. And some of the artillery units are firing stone shot. Now, stone shot is a lot more accurate, but kind of doesn't do the same damage as the fire pots. Also, obviously, as the fire pots hit the enemy troops, it really lowers their morale as well. But one hit in one of those units that are in close formation could take out a quarter or maybe even half a unit. So the artillery is very effective here. As I said earlier, of course, the Carthaginians have got the advantage with their sacred band cavalry, whereas the Greek cities, I don't think, have bought any cavalry. They're just going to rely on their Cretan archers, armoured hoplites, and their artillery there. If you notice close shots in there, you can see that where some of the Carthaginian units have been hit, you can see the burnt bodies on the grass there, and you can see that there you just saw another hit there of a unit just got hit by a fire pot. You can see that the Carthaginians are using Numidian mercenary. They're kind of missile troops there. What they're trying to do is to try and kill as many of those Cretan archers as they can. But really, what they need to do is to target the artillery, because at the moment, with them just kind of stood there in those formations, they're just asking to be hit by these fire pots. So really, they need to move forward and get into contact with the with the Greek cities' armies there. What you'll notice during this battle is when the actual two armies do come to contact, you'll notice that the artillery can kill both sides. It's you know, if the Allies units are too close to the enemy units, the artillery will just pound into them and kill them as well. So sometimes turning your artillery off at certain times is quite a good idea. Here you can see some Carthaginian cavalry have got behind the Greek cities here, and what they would like to do is charge into that artillery piece there to try and stop it from firing. But if you notice that the Greeks there had a armoured hoplite unit there, and he threw in his Cretan archers as well to try and stop the cavalry getting to the artillery piece. Also, if you can see, there's lots more Cretan archers there firing loads and loads of arrows into those Sacred Band cavalry there, so they would have lost a lot of cavalry. And even as they're pulling back now, that much Cretan archers, that many Cretan archers, really killing loads of them with their arrows. So that was a costly attack with the Carthage cavalry there, and I don't think they took that artillery piece out in the end anyway. This is a nice little formation here. Have you noticed how he's got his artillery pieces pretty well protected by pikes and archers there? If you can notice, there's some more Carthaginian cavalry coming around the flank there. You may well try and charge that into the archers there, but with those pike units so close, that could cause a bit of a problem there. As you see, he's charged one unit into a Cretan archer unit there. But of course, as you've got to remember, as those cavalry units move away, they're being shot all the time by the remaining Cretan archers. As you can see, the Carthaginian secondary troops, I think it's the pony infantry, have not yet come to attack the armoured hoplites yet. But as you can see, they're moving forward now. As I say, both factions here have got what we could call secondary troops with armoured hoplites against. I think it's pony infantry and Libyan spearmen on the Carthaginian team here. If you notice at the back of the Greek cities' armies there, you can see lots of Carthaginian cavalry kind of just roaming around the battlefield. But if you notice at the Greek cities team, we've got a lot of pike units facing them, protecting their archers and their artillery. Here's a close-up of, I think it's Carthage pony infantry fighting with the armoured hoplites there. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see who gets the best of the battle here. The secondary units of the Greek cities, or the secondary units of the Carthaginians here. As I said, you can see the Carthaginian cavalry roaming the battlefield at the rear, but you have to be very careful with cavalry, because with so many pike units around, the last thing you want to do is to be caught by a pike unit, because you'll find most of your cavalry in that unit will die and they'll probably end up routing, so it's kind of difficult. As you can see here, the Carthaginian cavalry smashing into, I think it's some helot troops there, is it? I think it just hit some helot troops there, or peltests. And they're backing off now. But if you notice that the artillery shells, the stone shot, are still hitting there, and even though it's firing at the Carthaginian cavalry, any friendly Greek cities units there will be hit and killed as well. So as I said, sometimes it's a good idea to turn your artillery off or target someone else in another part of the battlefield there. As you can see, this left side of the battlefield is becoming quite heavily fought over here. You can see there's several reserve Greek cities armoured hoplites there that haven't actually come into action yet. So that's always good to keep troops at the rear of the main engagement, just so you can put them in when you're ready. Fresh troops are a real essential thing in the battlefield. Here you can see that Brotherhood member Wolf is doing an all-out attack on kind of the centre of the Greek cities army there. As you can see there, his troops are fighting, trying to push a way through. Did you see that stone artillery ball there hit the troops there? As the Carthaginians are trying to push a hole through the centre of the Greek cities formation there. But of course the thing is, with secondary troops, their morale is not very good, and if their general actually gets killed when most of his troops are engaged, this could cause a mass rout. If you notice there, Wolf's brought his general up just behind his engaged infantry to give them morale, but that is also risky with the artillery, because if an artillery shell hits his general unit and his general's killed, this could cause a mass rout of his engaged troops. So it's kind of a gamble there. He's hoping his troops are going to force a hole through there, so he could then run his troops through and hit the back of the engaged Greek cities armies fighting his allies. But with his general so close to artillery shots there, it is a bit risky. Oh, and there his general has just been killed. Now, did you notice as soon as his general got killed, all of his engaged infantry now have chain routed and have run from the battlefield? So that just goes to show any new players watching this game how important your general is when it comes to morale for your troops. Okay, these are secondary troops, so their morale won't be very high, but that was a good example of how devastating it can be when your general is killed. So now, from what I can see there, all of Wolf's army has just been routed by that event. So now it's kind of almost turned into a 2v3 now. As you see, you can still see the Carthaginian, what's left of the Carthaginian cavalry, still charging into the back of pike units there. To rout a few of them, but there's not a lot of the Carthaginian cavalry left. The problem for them is if they got into range of those massed Cretan archers, they would lose a lot of men. So they've had to keep their cavalry back. And the moment they do charge forward to hit the back of an engaged Greek city unit, they're peppered by cavalry so much by archers so much they lose a lot of men in their units there. But meanwhile, over on the right flank, you can see that the Carthaginian general is engaged with a Greek cities unit there. But if you notice that the Greek cities archers are firing fire arrows into the back of the Carthaginian general here. Now, every one of those volleys of fire arrows are lowering his morale. And what they're hoping for is either to kill the general, or make the morale so low that general unit routs. And obviously if the general unit routs, the general will run as well, and that will lower the morale of all those Carthage troops fighting over there on the right flank. Meanwhile, over on the left flank, you can see that Brotherhood member Merlin is taking over a lot of fresh pike units, the armoured hoplite units over there, to help his ally out. There are still quite a few Carthaginian units left, but a lot of them, from what I can see, are very battle damaged. So I would think with those fresh Greek cities troops coming over, the Carthaginians, the tired Carthaginians, may start to rout soon. If you notice, the Carthaginian cav generals by his troops, giving them lots of morale as they're fighting. But I'm thinking of starting to see a lot of the Carthaginian troops starting to rout now. It's not just fighting the Greek cities pikemen, but it's also being hit by that artillery, both the stone shot and the fire pots. Plus, they're probably having loads of Cretan archers shooting arrows at them as well. So their morale is bound to be low. And as I said, they're only secondary troops, so they're not going to last as long as you could say the first-rate Sacred Band pikemen or anything like that. As you can see, the Greek city units are moving in on what's left of the Carthage units. And as you can see the Carthage units starting to rout now. And meanwhile, over on the right flank, the Carthaginians have been completely routed, and the victorious Greek cities armies are now moving down towards their other flank now to help out their teammates. But if you look at the whole battlefield now, you'll see that most of the Carthage army has been routed. There's a few of the Carthage units left, but I think in general you can see that the battle has actually gone to the Greek cities armies here.
Your general has sacrificed
yeah, I thought that was quite an interesting battle just to see secondary troops fighting. And bear in mind, it's only a 21k battle, so it's quite an interesting battle to watch there, and very unusual. Just like to say, very well played to everybody in the game. As you can see there, that was a very unusual game from what we usually put on there. For a start off, it's only a 21k game. Let's say it was Carthage against Greek cities with their secondary troops fighting. And of course there was artillery as well, which is we don't usually have in our battles. So it is an unusual game, and it's just what I was looking for our 60th. If any of you like watching pike tactics and archer tactics, and seeing how to use your artillery, maybe turning it off sometimes is a good idea. So that's the Brotherhood teams, both great fighters there, and it was a very unusual battle to watch. And as I say, it's from KENDYs campaign from about 7 or 8 years ago. This is Spartan Commander saying bye for now.